word expressive of Isvara is the mystic sound Om. Because it is difficult to understand anything without a name, Patanjali wants to give the Supreme Purusha a name. Even if he doesn't have a particular form, he should have a name. But Isvara is a limited name. God is also limited, because the very vibrations of the letters are limited. So Patanjali wants a name that can give an unlimited idea and vibration, and which can include all vibrations, all sounds and syllables, because God is like that, infinite. So Patanjali says his name is Om is called Pranava, which simply means humming.
Who is Ishvara? And Sri Patanjali explains, we started last week with the explanation. So who is this Ishvara? What is Ishvara? Ishvara is the name given to what we call God. But what is it? So last week, for those who weren't there, Sri Patanjali tells us very clearly. He says, okay, you guys, blame God for everything, which we do when something goes wrong. Oh, why did this happen to me? And he goes, really not involved at all. So let me find you the sutra. So last week, I'm going to read last week's and we're going to continue because the subject is so deep that you just can't cover in 1 hour. So we started last week by saying, to the keen and intent practitioner, this samadhi comes very quickly. What does that mean? That you really want to understand who you are? If you are keen and intent and you really question life and contemplate and meditate, you will know. And then he says after that, the time necessary for success further depends on whether the practice is mild, medium, or intense. In other words, however you want. It's up to you. You can do it mildly, you can do it whatever way. So really, it's up to you. And then he says, or samadhi is attained by devotion with total dedication to God. Ishvara. What is God? I explained last week, so it's on last week's video. But we give it the name Ishvara. Total dedication. What does that mean? Devotion and dedication. And for me, when you love whatever you do, or you love life, or you feel dedicated, even in your heart, you feel God. And I will read a few different quotes from different scriptures for you, and you see how they all just make so much sense. So my father always used to say, darling, easy way, don't doubt, don't question. God is everywhere in everything. Just love. Just give love. Give love. And wherever I felt I restrained from giving love, and this is a very difficult one to understand because that is even a paradox in itself. Because sometimes you have to restrain from giving love as a human being, but then there's a 2-layer there. You restrain from giving love to the person that you feel shouldn't get it that way, but you still know who they are as another human being. And that level of understanding both sides is very difficult to achieve and can only be achieved over many years, or if you're lucky, of practice, thinking and seeing the truth. Anyway, then he goes on to say, Ishvara is the supreme Purusha, unaffected by any afflictions, actions, fruits of actions, or by any inner impressions or desires. In other words, it is beyond our thoughts, beyond our dreams, beyond our needs, beyond all of it, beyond our desires. It's not involved. It's totally detached. And at first, oh, you don't care for me, God. I did speak about this last week. Mm-hmm. But later on you realize the freedom we are given to make the choices, either to connect or disconnect. We have that freedom. It's not that it is decided for us. We have that freedom. There are certain universal laws, and we have the freedom to choose them or not to choose them. Blaming, becoming a victim, makes us very weak and takes that God energy out of us. It takes it. We get deflated. We give our strength away. We give our energy away. But it's not about that. And then he says in the next one, in him is the complete manifestation of the seed of omniscience. What does that mean? Yes, we've come from that seed. So that seed is inside of us. And then 26 is where we stopped last week. And this is where I want to show you a few different readings so that you really understand this great God of love. Unconditioned by time, he is the teacher of even the most ancient teachers. And this is where in the yoga we speak of lineage. Lineage, it's very important to look at lineage. Where did the teaching come from? How far does the lineage go back? Nowadays there's so many self-made gurus, study for 1 year or 2 years and they think, oh, I'm a guru. Look at the lineage, look at the teaching, look at the background. So he says here, he is the teacher of even the most ancient teachers. This is where we have teachers like Jesus or Shiva, and each lineage, has been created for the type of people that live in that country. You're not going to send Lord Shiva to China. You'll send Confucius or Lao Tzu, right? You're not going to send Jesus to India at that time, although maybe he was there. He was in India. And, but you just send people it sends people the right people for where they are in time and space. And this is what we need to realize, that the divine is always there. And the Bhagavad Gita says, wherever there is unrighteousness, Arjuna, I promise you, I will come back again and again and make it right. But isn't it incredible that we are witnessing a time I have never seen, or any of us have seen in our history, in the last few hundred years, 2,000 years actually, the rise of such incredible spiritual awareness. Never seen it. There is a movement now. Never seen so much said about things that I was called about 30 years ago, I was called a witch saying, and people are saying in more incredible ways. Science is saying the same thing, and we're not being crucified for it. We're not being crucified for our belief system, because truth is truth. And many people are becoming aware. And I think this is really a very interesting time. So when you are in this awareness, you get a lot of charlatans trying to tell you what to think and what to do. You need to be careful. We need to be even more careful now than we've ever been, because there's the other side of it. Once this awareness comes up, same like any religion, people want to make money, or the egos get big. It's all about their egos and their self-importance. So there's another battle there. So that's why I look for lineage. If you look at all the basic truths, all religions carry it. Buddha, the Eightfold Path. Lord Jesus, the commandments, or love one another. Yoga, the same, yamas, niyamas. And you go to every tradition, they have that. And that comes from lineage. So be aware of the lineage, So don't let people fool you. Don't let people fool you. So here, I'd like to read to you something from the Upanishads, which is really very beautiful about where we came from, unconditioned by time. How do you explain this? And here it goes. Now, this scripture is really thousands of years old, even older than that. What is the cause of all the cosmos? Is it Brahman? Brahman is another word for God. From where do we come? By what do we live? Where shall we find peace at last? See, throughout time, same questions. What power governs the duality of pleasure and pain by which we are driven? We are driven by duality. Both pleasure and pain. We don't want the pain and we want the pleasure. Too much pleasure, loss of control. Too much pain, loss of living. So, can't control it. So you're asking the same questions. Time, nature, necessity, accident, elements, energy, intelligence. None of these can be the first cause. We're looking for who's Brahma, who's the first cause. None of that's the first cause. These are effects whose only purpose is to help the self rise above pleasure and pain. Those things are just effects, gifts, energy, intelligence, the gifts for us to rise, only to rise above pain and pleasure, to understand. In the depths of meditation, sages saw within themselves the Lord of Love. Now, do you know why I call God the Lord of Love? Who dwells in the heart of every creature. And there it comes again. Every creature. Nobody is exempt. So nobody can take your wholeness away from you unless you allow them. All right? Don't allow. You're whole. Get in touch with that power. Deep in the hearts of all he dwells, hidden behind the gunas of law, energy, and inertia. We talked about the gunas before, the forces of nature. They blind us, they control us. So when we understand that it's just nature, we are beyond nature. We are beyond nature. Nature, you can see it all around you, but ultimately we're beyond all of it. He is one. They use he, but you can say it is one. He it is who rules over time, space, and causality. The world is the wheel of God, turning round and round with all living creatures upon its rim. The world is the river of God, flowing from him and flowing back to him on this ever-revolving wheel of life. The individual self goes round and round through life after life, believing itself to be a separate creature. Why do we go on and on and on and on? Because we believe we're a separate creature. Until it sees its identity with the Lord of Love and attains immortality in the indivisible whole. The whole can't be divided. He is the eternal reality, sing the scriptures, and the ground of existence. Those who perceive him in every creature merge in him and are released from the wheel of birth and death. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. And I just wanted to read that to you because, it seems quite cryptic. It's hard to understand. He does everything and he does nothing. I mean, hello? 1 minute you're saying he's nothing, next minute you're telling me it's everything. Well, with this mind, we cannot understand. We do it outside of us. Can you imagine if we focused inside what we could do with ourselves? What could we do with ourselves? And these sages, how did they get the truth? By looking inside, asking the questions and looking inside. No machines. Just asking the right questions. Where do we come? How do we do it? It's like Einstein. He wanted to split the atom. Focus, focus, focus. This is samyama. We talked about it. Savitaka samadhi. Focus, focus, focus. Who is God? Who's God? What is God? Focus, focus. Who's Ishvara? Who's Ishvara? Focus. and you get the answer. And there's nothing that can describe it because this mind can't do it. It's just impossible in this small mind to do it. But you can experience it. The Lord of Love. And that's why I fell in love with the Upanishads. Just because of that. And then, let's go to the next sutra. 27. The word expressive of Ishvara is the mystic sound Om. Om is God's name as well as form. So there we get, there is no form, it's all the forms. There is no name, it's just vibration. It's frequency. God is frequency. God is energy. God is vibration. And that's why we all have auras, right, around us. The higher in love we vibrate, the bigger our aura, the more we can reach. But it can't be a pretending love because you can feel it, you know it. We're so clever as human beings, I hope, that we can follow our intuition. You need to know how to follow that and trust you. You know, there's too much noise out there. Trust you and get so connected yourself. And that's why meditation is so important every day. Not because some people go, I can't meditate. Okay, then contemplation is good enough. I have had a lot of truths just by contemplation. And my answers have not come in meditation. My answers I always laugh about, I told Gurudev, comes when I'm in the toilet. Honest. Or in a restaurant in the days when I was sitting down with my husband asking a question, go to the toilet for a break and I get the answer. This is what free choice is. How? Why? I don't know. I really don't know. You just don't know where to expect it. Something clicks at that moment. Maybe because you're not stressing anymore. Got it? You're not thinking about it anymore. At that moment when you stop thinking about it, whoom, the mind is empty. It's true. You just don't know. And I think it's just like when you're not so attached to the answer, you get the answer. You know, you just have to rest and the answer comes. When you just, I want an answer now. You're not going to get it. You're just not going to get it. You can't get it now. It doesn't happen like that. So he says the word expressive of Ishvara is the mystic sound Om. And of course, even when we open our mouths, right? Everybody. What sound? Start to close it. Right? So it's already really A-U-M. So if you think about it, every single sound beneath the surface has Om in it. If you think about it, because you have to and when you finish, right? So everything. So you know, when I read this many years ago, chair, where is the Om in chair? I say everything I read, I practiced. I literally practice. You know, I want to know if this is true. I really did some yama on all these things, and that's what I'm advising you to do. Please, because you will reap the rewards. You will, definitely. So I go, my mouth's chair. I did the at the end, do you know? And I said, oh yeah, it is in there. But I really had to practice a lot to get that. So, and that's the sound. And you know, it's just so lovely because when I heard Gurudev say it, my teacher say it the first time, I just thought, oh my God, it just opened my eyes. And he said, and the first man was called Adam. And we are all made up of atoms. And the resistance to electricity is measured in ohms. And in the word home, there's an H and an E, so the Om lives in the He. Can you see it? Yeah, he was so good with words. He was like, you see, yeah, H and E and O-M in the middle. So that's why charity begins at home. put the vibration of Om all the time. So I did a further study of Oms, and I found again in the Upanishads, and here in the Mandukya Upanishad, here it starts with this mantra. May we hear only what is good for all. May we see only what is good for all. May we serve you, Lord of love, all our lives. May we be used to spread your peace on earth. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Isn't it a beautiful, all the mantras, every Upanishad starts with a mantra and a prayer. And that's how they were written, with a prayer, and then the answers would come to them. So would you I'll say one line and you repeat it, okay? May we hear only what is good for all.
May we hear only what is good for all.
May we see only what is good for all.
May we see only what is good for all.
May we serve you, Lord of love, all our life.
May we serve you, Lord of love, all our life.
May we be used to spread your peace on earth.
May we be used to spread your peace on earth.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And for those who don't think they have a job or a mission in life, there's the mission. First mission. People tell me, oh, I don't know what to do with my life, I have no mission. This is your mission. And this mission takes years to achieve. You have a mission. There it is. So simple. Keep it simple. We complicate it. We think we have to appear a certain way or do certain things to please other people. Too many thoughts, too much thinking. I turn on the video and I go, oh, this guy looks really nice. He's really talking. And why haven't you got your million in life? Because you haven't tapped the universe. Again, teaching people about having desires. Having money is not a bad thing. If we'll get everything we need when we need it. But being obsessed with it is scary. Because once you fall into that, you become an addict. An addict. You literally do. Because now you're looking at the money and not the peace. And it's a difficult one for man to maneuver. Because there has to be a middle ground. It has to be. Because you have to have enough money to live and to be able to have a place and to pay bills. But it's also, do you make that your obsession? So it's really quite hard for people to maneuver money. I have seen people, and you all have, in politics, in spirituality, start off with the most incredible, wonderful hearts. And the moment the money comes, where's the heart now? So here it says in the Mandukya Upanishad, again, about the word Om. Om stands for the supreme reality. It is a symbol for what was, what is, and what shall be. Anybody know that Christian prayer? Glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and forever shall be. What's the difference between that and this? Correct? Same, right? Same thing. Om represents also what lies beyond past, present, and future. Same prayer. One simple prayer saying the same thing. Brahman is all, and the self is Brahman. This self has 4 states of consciousness. This is us. Now, this might be a little bit difficult for some people, the words, but for those who are studying Axiom with me, you will probably recognize them better. The first is called Vaishvanara, which is when one lives with all the senses turned outward, aware only of the external world. Taijasa is the name of the second, the dreaming state, in which, with all the senses turned inward, one annexes the impressions of past deeds and present desires. So in your dreams, right? When you go in your dreams, sometimes they seem so real, and they're there, but your dreams contain all your past and also a lot of what you desire. The third state is called prajna, or deep sleep, in which one neither dreams nor desires. There is no mind in prajna. There is no separateness, but the sleeper is not conscious of this. Let him become conscious in prajna, and it will open the door to the state of abiding joy. Okay, Sri Patanjali talks to us about the different states of mind. We already covered it. Right knowledge, misconception, verbal delusion, sleep and memory. Okay, so he talks to us about sleep, and this kind of explains, because nobody understands when we cover what happens in sleep. Okay, there's deep sleep. Now, our dreams have a lot to do with how we react in life, right? But there is this deep, deep sleep, and when you get into really, really deep sleep, you get up in the morning and what do you feel? Really good, right? When there's no dreams, no nothing, you go, oh my God, 6 hours passed, and I don't even know 6 hours has passed. It's kind of like a meditation, but you feel really full of energy in the morning because you slept so deeply, right? It's such a nice feeling to have deep sleep. Sleep is so valuable. You feel so well the next day. And now what he's saying is, if you wake up, and that's the fourth state, which is Turiya. Let me read it to you. Prajna, what we're talking about, all-powerful and all-knowing, dwells in the hearts of all as a ruler. Prajna is the source and end of all. In that state, we are really in the dynamic frequency. That frequency, okay? Just think of it as frequency. The fourth is the superconscious state called Turiya, neither inward nor outward, beyond the senses and the intellect, in which there is none other than the Lord. It is the supreme goal of life. It is infinite peace and love. Realize it. Turiya is represented by Om. Though indivisible, it has 3 sounds. A stands for Vaishvanara. Those who know this through mastery of the senses obtain the fruit of their desires and attain greatness. So what he's saying is, if you understand that while you're in the outside world, right, and you understand that you are dealing with the outside world, but there is the Lord of love within you, you will get whatever you desire if you have control of your senses. Okay? You indicates, because we're saying AUM, okay? You indicates Taijasa. Those who know this, by mastering even their dreams, become established in wisdom. In their family, everyone leads a spiritual life. So what does it mean, mastering your dreams? Do you understand lucid dreams? Have you heard of the term? Lucid dreaming, whatever. Okay, mastering your dreams. Okay, I think I've spoken about this quite a lot. In the beginning, many times I used to have this current dream that comes on and on about me being run over by a car for years and years. Anyway, when I started yoga and I started to do my mantra, especially the mantra, a lot, and the dream came, I actually, in the dream, said the mantra, got up, got to the end of the road, didn't get run over. So I could, in the dream, change the dream within the dream and walk away. I never had that dream again. I never had that nightmare. And that took me 40 years to leave that nightmare. I always saw myself run over by a car again and again and again. And it left me. So this is the power of the mantra. This is the power of understanding, that we have all these different states within the one body, the different periods in our life, in our day. So that's what he's saying. And then in their family, everyone leads this spiritual life. Because of course, if you're happy in your dreams and you can change your dreams, you understand there is so much more. M corresponds to prajna. Those who know this, by stilling the mind, find their true stature and inspire everyone around to grow. The Mantram OM stands for the supreme state of Turiya without parts, beyond birth and death, symbol of everlasting joy. Those who know Om as the self become the self. Truly, they become the self. Now, how does this work? So this is what, you see, our thoughts. The whole sutra start with Yoga Chitta Sthiti Nirodha Tada Trasue Swarupe Vastanam. When you learn to restrain all those thoughts, what happens? Thank you. The seer abides in its own true nature. What is your own true nature? So you start to, when the mind goes in, and here, that's exactly what he's saying. We don't create more thoughts. Why this, and because of this, and but this, and why this. Get to the truth, keep it simple, less thoughts. And when you constantly repeat, the thoughts stop for a bit. There's only the vibration. So do this over time, or your mantra over time, over time, over time. What happens? Less thoughts, less thoughts. Instead of fighting your thoughts and stressing, oh, I'm not this today, and today I'm like this, and today is like that, or I'm... No. So when all those crazy thoughts start, after a while, takes over. It just takes over. So we're making the thoughts less. This is why we do mantra chanting. Because while you're in that, you're not in the other stressful stuff. It's not spiritual bypassing. It's training your mental muscles not to fall apart every time something goes wrong. It's training. It's like you would go to a gym and train. You train those muscles in the mind. Okay, the thoughts are going all over the place. Okay, for 1 week, I'm going to just do this mantra. I'm not going to stop. And that's why all mantras start with Amen, Amin, Om Mani Padme Hum. All start with that sound so that we build up the vibration, so we can get to that frequency, so that we can overcome. It will do it for us. It will do it for us. You don't have to struggle. You just have to practice for a long time without a break and your heart. So you have to be that keen and intent practitioner. And nobody can do that for you. Please understand that. Said it again and again. The Lord of Love is in every creature. What we can do is inspire each other. And that is our job. Inspire, because we will all have bad days. And we will all have days that we feel that we'll never get anywhere. And you give up and you're just exhausted from trying. That it happens to all. So this is why we are here, and that's why Sangha is created, so that you pick each other up those times, because we're connected. If you're hurt, I'm hurt. That's why jealousy and all these things cannot work in this realm of love. It cannot. It destroys it. We're here to just, there's no jealousy. Let's lift each other one by one, one by one, one by one. Because when everybody is lifted, everybody can affect their circle. Everybody's circle is so huge, you don't realize. I always say one person changes, their family will change, the cousins will change, this will change, that will change. It does change, because they don't change by your words, they change by your example. They don't change by your judgment, they change by your love. No judgment, they change by your love. But sometimes this love also has to be a little bit strict and strong. Otherwise, people will walk all over you. This is where you have to discrimination also. Oh, I'm so spiritual, I love everybody. Oh, but they bully me, Nalanie. And what do I say? I told you to love, I never asked you to be stupid. Okay, remember that. So, it's true, you really have to know where be strong in your yama niyama. Nothing can shake you. And this is why, the 8 limbs of yoga are so important. Because once you're well grounded, then the tree, the little sapling that you were, starts to become a tree. And like Gurudev said, we're like all trees and that we can give our shade. And if you're like the apple tree doesn't eat its own apples. It drops it for everybody to enjoy. It drops it, just gives of its fruit. All vegetables do that. They just give themselves to us to enjoy, So as the animals, as animals also give, but we sometimes are a little bit greedy and we take too much. What can we do? It's a human life. So anyway, this is Patanjali and Om. And I'll finish with one last one today. Then he says, to repeat it with reflection upon its meaning is an aid. 29. From this practice, all the obstacles disappear and simultaneously dawns knowledge of the inner self. Simultaneously. Why? Because you keep the mind quieter. When the mind is quiet, the thoughts are less. The knowledge, you can see it, just comes. But when you're stressing, I know this and but this and that, but I don't, nothing. Because it's not in the knowing that you know. It is in the not knowing that you get the answers. It really is like that. It really is like that. So this is the class for today. And Sri Patanjali says, when you say it with reflection, understand why you're saying it, understand what your purpose is in saying it, what do you want by repeating it, what is your goal, then it is so powerful that all the obstacles will go by themselves. Will go by themselves. We don't need to struggle. When the time is right, things leave you.